County Fiscal Court meeting for July 8th, 2025. Please stand for the invocation and pledge by Commissioner Drought.
Please bow your head. God, in this time of 4th of July, it reminds us how great it is to be an American. To be born in this country is really a privilege. To have our freedom of expression, which separates us from the rest of the world. We're grateful for that. We're also grateful to our veterans and first responders for protecting us in times of need. And we need to say a special recognition prayer for the horrible floods in Texas and the people that are victims of that. It's not hard. It's hard to understand why those things happen, but I know there has to be a reason. And we thank you for our employees who try to help make Kenton County the best place to live in the state of Kentucky. And in Jesus' name we pray. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item of the agenda is our approval of the minutes for June 24th. Motion second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have our citizens address. I don't think anyone has signed up to address the court this evening. Okay, then we'll move on to the general business. We have a swearing in for Tim Hogan as a sergeant for the police department. So Tim and Chief, please come forward. All right, so I want you to raise your right hand and say, do you, Tim Hogan, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky as long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the position of Sergeant for the Kenton County Police Department according to law? And do you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of this present Constitution, you being a citizen of this state have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted as challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person in this offending, so help you God? Congratulations, sir. You get a picture. I'm going to let you introduce your family, so we got a crowd over here.
I do. I got a crowd. My wife and my kids, some siblings, and then some family, friends, and my brother as well.
Yes, another proud of you, and thank you for your continued service.
Why don't you get a family picture?
We'll be here to shake your hand one more time. Okay, we want to have a family.
Why don't you all get up there?
There you go.
You'll like that. Little kids.
Now, you have to listen to Meg. She'll line you up correctly.
Was every
Nice
student
to get in here.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2. Yeah, I take one. Let me know.
Yeah. And by the way, you guys won't offend us by leaving and enjoying the evening. So it's interesting. I knew Tim's great uncle, so it was kind of funny to see the connection of how people, we all know each other. It doesn't take far. We all have these connections. It's kind of cool. Okay, next is our request approval for designated monies for the opioid funds being used appropriately. The Kurt is verifying that. I think we're confirming your validation
Yeah, I
of them?
think
Is
this
that-
is an annual thing we have to approve.
So moved.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Claims list, Kurt, July 8th.
Yep, claims list was sent out. Any questions on that? All right, thank you.
None? Okay, good. Bills get paid. Resolution, this is the first reading, Resolution 25-22, for the court approving and adopting the compensation rate for the Kenton County employees and authorizing the county treasurer to pay the rates on scheduled paydays.
So moved.
Motion is second. Any question or comment? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 25-23, authorizing an application to the Kentucky Department of Cabinet for reimbursement of expenditures for the transportation of non-public school students. Kurt?
Yeah, so this is the resolution that says we're going to apply for the funding to transport the private school kids. It's contracts through Diocese of Covington, Kenton County School District, and Covington Independent, or Covington Board of Education.
Which we do every year.
Every year, correct.
Every year, yeah. Do you have any idea how many kids are involved in that, or?
I can get back to you.
No,
I do have that number. I don't want to give you the wrong answer.
I'm just curious.
Numbers guy?
Not necessary that I know, really.
They all mix together sometimes.
I just thought I'd want to ask the questions you might not know the answer.
Well, you got him.
You got me.
Reserved the right to not know.
Do we have a
I'll
motion?
second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 25-24, adopting and approving the execution of a memorandum of agreement between Kenton County and the state of Kentucky for Department of Highways for the Menifee Bridge Road replacement. Spencer's on vacation, so he's not here. but-
I can answer that.
You sure?
Yes,
Okay.
we applied for a grant through the, let's see here, they call it the County City Bridge Improvement Program, and we were awarded $654,000 for this.
Really?
And they considered it a priority one project, so I would strongly suggest we adopt this and use those funds to replace that bridge.
I have a question. Does anyone in this room know who Menifee is?
No. I think you're going to tell us.
Do you all know? There used to be a guy named Corrine Menifee who was on the Kenton County School Board with me, and that's who it's named after.
Really?
Really?
Very nice.
Yeah.
That
Corey.
shows you how old
Is it
I
a
am.
bridge to a school?
His first name was Corrine.
Corey.
And he didn't like me very much. He and I were on opposite sides of philosophy of issues, and we were both very young.
Bless you.
In fact, we almost came to blows one night.
We have to stop the story at that point then, John. Let's see, we do need a motion in a second, I think, or do we
I'll
already
make
vote
the
on
motion.
it? Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ordinances, we have one, 924.65. This is the first reading, amending Article 9 and Article 10 of the official zoning ordinance of unincorporated Kenton County related to the outdoor storage of trailers within the rural commercial zone. There is no vote this evening, so we will bring this up, not next meeting, the 24th, we'll bring this up to the first meeting in August, where we will be able to take action on this. And if there's any questions either this evening or then, we can both have PDS staff here to answer any of those questions as well. But again, it will not be brought on the agenda at our next July meeting. It'll be the first meeting in August out here in Independence.
The only point I'll make is it was written as the applicant requested at the public hearing. He asked for it to be a conditional use to where it would go through the Board of Adjustments, and that's what the ordinance reads right now, just to let you know.
His lawyer agreed to that too, right?
Okay, in the consent agenda, we have 4 items. Any questions on them or would like to address them individually?
I'll make the motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. You have a-
I just wanted to point out the change order on the parking garage is a no-cost change order, but because of weather delays and a couple others that have been substantiated, we have thoroughly reviewed those. It is going to extend the contract days 8 days, so substantial completion becomes November 16th, which means actually October 14th would be a day that we could start using the garage. So just wanted to let you know, that only comes into play with liquidated damages. But they have been fantastic working through some pretty bad weather and pretty bad conditions. So I have no doubt they'll probably beat the schedule anyhow, but contractually, we needed to go through this change order.
Great. Progress every day. Okay, we're moving on then, we do need a motion. We have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Motion carries. On to executive orders. Order 25-70, approving the appointment of David McKnight to the Northern Kentucky Convention Center Board.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
I would say
opposed?
that's an excellent appointment.
Thank you. Yeah, he's a sharp guy. He'll
Yeah.
great addition. Thank you. Order 25-71, approving the order of affiliation between the Fiscal Court and the Technical Rescue Team, Northern Kentucky Technical Rescue Team.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 25-72, approving the order of affiliation of the Kenton County and the Kentucky Search Dog Association.
So moved.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 25-73, approving the reappointment of Gerald Cook to the Independence Fire District Board.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 25-74, approving the resignation of Ryan Russler as a Kenton County Police Department Sergeant.
So moved.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 25-75, approving the resignation of Tyler Perry as a police officer in the police department.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
That was a
opposed?
quick
Motion
job.
carries. Order 25-76, approving the resignation of Bill Kelsey as a public service tech in Public Works.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 25-77, approving the appointment of Abby Moore as a digital media specialist in the administration department.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 25-78, approving the appointment of Nicole Owens as Animal Control Officer for Animal Services.
So moved.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then order 25-79, approving the promotion of Tim Hogan to a police sergeant in the police department.
So moved.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And order 25-80, approving the appointment of Nick Geraci as a police officer in the police department.
So moved.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 25-81, approving the reorganization of the Homeland Security Emergency Management Department.
So moved.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And lastly, order 25-82, approving the reappointment of Donna Blomer and Emily Hanna to the Kenton County Ethics Commission.
So moved.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And we're on to administrative reporting. So Jessica Ramsey, Technology Services.
Good evening, everyone. I will continue to be talking about Office 365 for probably the next several meetings, giving you guys updates. We did have a successful implementation, although the project was pushed and delayed due to some issues with the naming of our server for it. So everything went relatively smoothly. The next step will be that we will be implementing two-factor authentication on everybody's email accounts. We will be in touch with you, commissioners and judge, specifically to make sure that we get that set up individually for you, since you all aren't in the office primarily. Today we rolled it out for the Treasury Department. Last week we rolled it out for IT. So our next step will be working through administration, Homeland Security, making sure that we don't have any issues pop up before we start rolling it out for people who are out in the field, since it's a little more difficult to communicate the changes with them. That's our major updates right now on the Office 365 front. In addition, we have made some changes to the design of our servers so that we have multiple redundancies. I know we talk about that a lot, but to give a case in point, 2 weeks ago, we had a server that did not come back online after reboot, but there were no outages whatsoever because we set things up so that it automatically flipped to another piece of hardware. So it's always nice when something goes wrong and nobody knows about it, and that is always our goal, that we can keep things up and running without anybody being aware that we had any issues on the back end anyway. And with that, I'll stand for any questions. Or stoop, as needed.
Very good, thank you. John Stanton, External Affairs.
As proof of the expertise of Jessica and her team, I would say that so far I've navigated the Microsoft 365 transition. So for those that know me, know that's quite an achievement on the part of our folks. Typically, I look forward on these days, but I would want to mark one little piece of history. Today is the 10th anniversary of the execution of the agreement creating the Northern Kentucky Office of Drug Control Policy. And if you all remember 10 years ago, I'm not sure there's ever been a greater real crisis that hit Northern Kentucky when you looked at the numbers of overdoses, overdose deaths, babies being born addicted. And, you know, under the initial leadership of Kim Moser and Kirk Cavanaugh and subsequently Amanda Peters, I think that office has been near a model on how to coordinate public resources and private resources in Northern Kentucky to address that issue. So I think that's kind of worth noting because it's, I think, a notable success story in recent decades in Northern Kentucky. Along those lines, I wanted to also point out one of the fun byproducts of a lot of the work going on right now is watching some of the different public entities work together. And for example, tonight's appointment of David McKnight to the Convention Center. The Convention Center soon is going to be undertaking a significant renovation of the building in the neighborhood of $40 to $50 million. But they have been fantastic to work with when it comes to the medical school and the law school process. And the addition of David McKnight to their board, I think, ensures that that cooperation between separate but still public entities is going to continue and be great. Then another example of that today was, again, great conversation and partnership emerging between the Kenton County Library District and Spark House as an example. Dave Schroeder and Dave Knox have forged a strong working relationship, and I think we're going to see a lot of good stuff come out of that. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention, and I know Commissioner Sewell was there, and as well as Judge Knockelman, but the grand opening of the Latonia branch of the Kenton County Library District was probably one of the 10 most significant grand openings I've ever seen. The crowd was unbelievable, and it wasn't kind of the usual crowd you see at those events. I mean, the number of families, the number of kids, they just kept coming and coming and coming. They kept having to pull back some of the barricades they'd created for the crowd. So that was exceptional to see. And then I would close out by thanking Jailer Mark Fields and his Chief Deputy Trey Smith. I've sent a number of folks over to the detention center in the last month to tour and see the treatment program. Not the way that County Attorney Tapke might send somebody over, but to send folks over to tour, and I can tell you the feedback that I get back from folks who go through the facility is exceptional. And the feedback of the folks who see the treatment program and everything. And all of you who've been involved in county government for some time know how incredible it is to have a detention center running at that level and having the public come in and immediately recognize that it's running at that level. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Where did the funding come from for the convention center?
They have a dedicated 1%.
Yeah, I knew they had that.
Yeah, so that's accumulated. I think it's the current account is somewhere in the $12 to $16 million has accrued over the years. And then they've retained counsel, and they're going to bond and finance the remainder of the total cost.
That's all local money.
Mm-hmm.
Paid
for by hotel tax usage.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But,
that's one of those nice revenue sources that I think is paid for 98% by folks who are visiting from outside the community.
Yeah, I was on that board when they decided to reserve that.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think, Gretchen Landrum is leading the charge on that, but I think everybody will be pleased by what they're doing. At the day when they designed it, Covington was a very different place 25 years ago, and it was a very internal-looking facility. I think it's going to integrate very nicely into the community down there.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks, John. Kelly Sauer, Animal Services. Second report you've done, right?
Good evening, everyone. Just a little bit about what's going on at the shelter currently. In June, we took in 88 cats, but excitedly, nearly half of those were part of our trap, neuter, release program, which we've really gotten off the ground pretty well, and I'm very excited about it. We took in 135 dogs last month, but we've had over 124 adoptions, which is really helping us balance the flow. Currently, it's kitten season. If you're not familiar with kitten season, that means every cat out there is breeding, and we're getting a lot of kittens in. So we are running some specials on kittens. So if you know anybody who's interested in adopting, please send them our way. We also have a promotion going on currently with Fiscal. This is a program that a lot of shelters utilize. They provide kind of an offset dollar amount so that we can give adoptions at a reduced rate. Currently, we're doing all adoptions at 50%, just to help kind of get animals out of the shelter, get them moving. This weekend and next weekend, just Saturday and Sunday, we will be doing zero-cost adoptions, just to help promote that Bissell Clear the Shelter program. Last, a little bit of a happy story. Our second longest length of stay dog, Fiona, finally went to her forever home. She was in the shelter for over 200 days consecutively. So that was a huge win getting her out of the shelter. And I'd be happy to answer
Forever
your
home,
questions.
I thought you meant you went to heaven.
No. This was a positive live outcome, so yeah.
What, you say it'd be no cost this weekend?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday will be zero-cost adoptions. And like I said, this Bissell program offsets that some. And then we're going to do that the final weekend of the Bissell program, too, which I believe is the 19th and 20th, will be zero-cost adoptions as well. Yeah, we've been promoting it internally as well as our play groups, which are actually kind of neat if you've never seen those to see on our Facebook. It's basically dogs just playing with each other, but we've had great success in getting some dogs adopted just by showing those play groups. So, yeah. Any questions? Good deal.
Okay, great. Thank you. Kurt, Treasurer's
Just
report.
need the record to reflect that the financial reports for June or fiscal '25 have been submitted.
Very good. Questions of Kurt? He's doing them faster than Roy did, John, so he's getting these reports done even
Yeah,
faster.
that's right. You're doing good.
Thank you.
County Attorney's report. Nothing? Okay. County Administrator's detailed report.
I have nothing.
Okay, Commissioner Drought.
Well, I hesitate to give a report tonight, but I don't have anything.
Okay. Commissioner Sewell, somebody's got to do something. Okay. Commissioner Nienaber, nothing this evening? Okay. One note, and it prompted me to think about this. We're going to be celebrating this more and more, but we had our weekly meeting today on Spark House, and we just wanted to point out that we are within a couple $100,000 of having everything completely paid for on that $17 million project. And we're about 50% leased up, I think, on Space, John. I don't want to misspeak. Moving right along with the grand opening here in a month and a half. People will start getting into that space, and both the users are clamoring to get in, the businesses that want those spaces. And so it's pretty exciting. So Christine Russell and Mark from the Port Authority, really BNKY, have done that staffing and managing that day to day, and they've done an excellent job of kind of watching that day to day with John's involvement and Meg's doing the communication, and everybody's been involved in that. But more to come, but a lot of really positive feedback from it. And I don't want to take anybody else's thunder in the future as making some of the announcements, but really good. And then just being aware the 1NKY Center is going to have people in those offices in the next day or two. So BNKY is fully in that building after they've got a few permits to finalize some inspections in the next 24 hours, I think. But literally within the next month, all the space except for the second floor will be occupied. So please do mark down, I know Sue and Mag will give you the dates for the grand opening, but it's worthwhile, and if you can't make the grand opening, it's worthwhile if you want to get and see, walk through the space. It's something that I think all of Northern Kentucky can be really proud of, and without your the three of your support to put some final pieces of that, it would not be happening. So I think that's something to be really proud of, that project as well, not only cash flowing, but also being something that we can help support economic development and all the other agencies in the region. So a lot of good stuff to celebrate, and with that, I don't have anything else to report.
How many spaces are in Spark House?
Total, including the one, like the desks, well, it's hard to say that, John, because you've got the memberships where people will be able to just get in the building and use and connect with people, up to the actual desks. And John, do you have that count? I'm going to guesstimate private offices and desks are going to number in the probably, 200 maybe, 150 to 200.
Really, that
overall.
many?
That's including someone having a desk that becomes their spot, so.
I think Dave Knox is anticipating about 250 people a day in and out of the building using it at various levels and everything.
Meg had a very nice press release on that today. She's doing a great job. Aren't you glad I recommended getting a communications person?
You know, John, sometimes you're right. I'll give you that credit.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Think about it for a minute.
No question.
She's done a great job, and she's telling the story of the very successful fiscal court.
You just don't want to give her too much credit. She's pretty tough to work next door to.
She probably deserves a raise, you know.
Well, with that, I don't think we have anything else. We don't have an executive session needed, correct?
Correct.
Good. One last time for an opportunity for a report? Okay. We just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'm in favor.
All in favor. Have a good evening, everybody.
Yeah, man, that was fast.